Just like I've done in several GTA 5 missions, I decided to test a random event here to check out all the possible outcomes. It's a random event I really like in GTA 5, way up at the top of the map where there's a woman being buried who is the daughter of a mobster, and she gives you a reward at the end and everything. First, I wanted to find out what happens, what dialogues play out when we do this event with Trevor, Franklin, and Michael, because each one triggers slightly different dialogue, though overall it's pretty similar. And after that I started thinking about all the possibilities this random event has. Not every random event lets you do as much stuff as this one does. So with that said, go ahead and hit like and subscribe, and let's get this kind of crazy test started. First, I started testing here with Trevor. I went to this part of the map and I arrived with Trevor and just stood there watching, you know, like I just stopped beside to watch the spot and see if the NPCs would do anything different if we didn't react and tried to help the woman, or if the woman would actually get buried or something like that. And no surprise to anyone, the characters just keep repeating the same lines. Meanwhile, the guy digging keeps doing the same movement over and over. The guy never stops digging because that hole is already open. He's not actually digging it at that moment. So that NPC digging is just looping that animation endlessly without stopping. You can stay there for 10 minutes, which is about how long I stayed, and it'll keep repeating the same dialogues from the NPC who's kidnapping the woman and also from the woman who's calling for help.
You're making a big mistake! How dumb are you? Let me go! Do you know what my dad will do to you? You won't get away with this! You don't have to do this! You twisted bastards!
When you get a little closer to this event, new dialogue lines pop up, but then they go back to repeating everything all over again.
You don't have to do this!
Don't stop, keep digging.
What do you think I'm doing? Oh, if you're such an expert, why don't you give me a hand here? We only got one shovel, and you need the exercise.
You twisted bastards!
So, since there was nothing left to test in this part, I went up to her to try and give her a hand, you know. I took out the guys. As soon as you get close, the NPCs react hostile and start shooting at you. The only option you have is to kill both bandits. After taking out both bandits, I kept my gun aimed at her to see if any different dialogue would trigger. Nothing came up, so I went ahead and started her rescue. After saving her, I aimed at her face and Trevor kinda cursed at her. But like nothing major, it didn't trigger any different dialogue. She doesn't run away or anything like that.
You
Like I
look
haven't
like
seen
you
one of those
struggle
before.
with simple tasks.
I tested the same approach with all three characters, Franklin, Michael, and Trevor. Every time the NPCs get hostile and attack you right away. Like there's no dialogue or anything, no matter what outfit you're wearing. For example, I even wore a police uniform with both Michael and Trevor. Still, no difference, the NPCs are just as hostile. However, they did react to the police car. So when I showed up dressed as a cop, the NPCs were hostile just the same. But when I stole a police car, rolled up in it with the siren on, they ran away. Then the woman becomes available to be rescued.
Such an expert, why don't you give me a...
Hello? Can you help me?
A lot of things react cool to police vehicles, right? There's that mission with Jimmy where you have to save him. There's a whole setup for you to get Jimmy out of the car. You know, you have to keep hitting it and all that. But in that mission, if you also go in a police vehicle, you can get the guys out of the car right away. You just have to turn on the siren. It's pretty cool. And since the police car worked, what I decided to do next was test calls. But unfortunately, calls don't work. Like when you get here and the mission is active, right? You try calling the police and the call just drops. Even if you dial 911 directly, it doesn't work. The call drops every single time. So I decided to run a different test. I got a few wanted stars when I got close here, right? I used the cheat to increase the wanted level. Then I headed to the random event and the event spawned. Actually, I spawned the event first. After that, I used the police cheat and the cops started chasing me. They ended up in a shootout with the characters, which is pretty cool. There's no kind of save trigger or anything. There's no dialogue from the NPC on the ground saying, "Wow, it's the police, thank God," or anything like that. Especially since I don't think she'd be too happy about the police being a mobster's daughter and all. But since the other NPCs are shooting at you, they're hostile. The cops that show up shoot those NPCs too. I even turned off the police cheat to see if the shootout would keep going just between them. And it did. The NPCs killed the cops and the cops shot and killed the NPCs. The experiment kind of worked out.
Get me out of here, please! Don't leave me here! Untie me, please! Hello? Can you help me?
So, the last reaction I decided to test for starting the mission was trying to arrive here with more than one playable protagonist. In this case, I set up a meetup with Trevor, Michael, and Franklin all together. Then I headed to where this random event happens. I stayed around here for quite a while. The event doesn't spawn if you have other characters with you. So I had another idea to try, to force the game to trigger the random event with two protagonists. I left Trevor really close to where the event spawns. Then I arrived here with Michael. I checked to see if they were all there, right? I got there with only Michael at the location, and the event showed up on the minimap. After it appeared on the minimap, I went over to where Trevor was, which is pretty close to the event. The event hadn't even left the map or anything. Then the dialogue happened so Trevor and Michael could interact and go for a ride. When I accepted, unfortunately, the random event disappeared from the map.
Mike! What the fuck? Want to get a drink, cowboy?
Okay.
I even came back here with Trevor and Michael, but really the NPCs were already gone and we couldn't continue. So no chance of doing this with more than one character. So I decided to come back here with Trevor and continue the mission. I killed the characters, put the woman in the car, and I tested what would happen if I didn't drive the car, if I stayed completely still. She keeps talking for quite a while, with Franklin, with Trevor, and with Michael too. But after a while of being stopped, she just gets mad. She gets out of the car and starts complaining for real, Like, she doesn't even thank you for saving her life again. She walks off complaining a lot, saying things like, "I'm a grown woman, I can walk." She says stuff like that.
I'm just gonna do this myself then. It's okay. You can go now. I'm a big girl.
So the only thing left for me to do here was to keep busy along the way. One really important thing is this. During the trip, this character has exactly the same line of dialogue. However, depending on which character saved her, there will be some slightly different interactions. So when you're playing as Trevor and you save her while you're driving her and all, but Trevor first off makes a joke, right? Right after saving her, she asks for a ride. He says he's not giving her a ride, then says he's just kidding and everything.
I didn't even know where the hell we are. You couldn't give me a ride, could you?
No, you can walk. Only kidding. Too soon? Come on.
But like Trevor's really chill around her. When she asks his name, which she definitely does, he just tells her casually. He cracks jokes about her almost being buried alive. And at the end of the conversation, when Antonia asks his name and says her dad's gonna reward him, he just replies saying, "Do whatever the code says."
This is a nightmare. I kept telling him it wasn't safe. I gotta make a call. Pepe, you need to come and get me. Yes, right now? I was just 10 seconds away from getting whacked. Meet me in Vinewood Hills. I gotta get out of here. Anywhere. Okay, I got a guy coming for me. Vinewood Hills. Jesus, this is so messed up. Thank you. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't come along.
Well, based on my quick read of the situation, you would have been buried alive.
Those 6 sons of bitches.
What was that all about?
Just my dad, as usual.
That was your dad?
What? No. Yeah, I shouldn't really say, but what does it matter now? You're in the life, right? You can't handle yourself like you did and not be in the life. Have you heard of Sammy Bottino? Most people call him Sonny.
Can't say I have.
The Gambetti family? Don't you watch the news? He was Don Gravelli's right-hand man. He more or less kind of ran the East Coast in the 80s and 90s. No? Well, that's my dad. Father of the Year. They tried to pin a murder charge on him in 2007 and we had to go into hiding. Move out west. One day you're living the good life, the next you're moving around safe houses in rat-hole hick towns where no one comes looking.
Would you send out a cab post-haste?
On its way, sir. Thanks for calling.
Good work. And, your friends back there?
Just the latest in a long line of people who want to get back at Sonny Bottino. Could be something he's trying to run from the inside, or someone else he squealed on. When he got pinched in 2011, he kind of copped a plea, gave up a lot of people. So he gets to sit in his 5-star cell while I'm on the outside dealing with the consequences. My dad was many things, but I never thought he'd be a snitch.
Whereas you seem to be the soul of discretion.
What's there to hide anymore? It's all out there. They even wanted me to do a reality show. What are you doing?
Hey, my man, where you going?
Vinewood
What are
Hills.
you doing? They even wanted me to do a reality show. Wise bitches, daughters of mobsters, catfighting, and broker. But of course he wouldn't let me. He's so protective. I've always been a daddy's girl.
All right, let's hit the road.
You wait until he hears about this. He'll flip his shit. Seriously. Everyone those 2 hicks ever talked to is gonna get hit. And what's your name, by the way?
Trevor Phillips. Why? Am I on his list too? That would seem on the unfair side.
No, he's gonna want to know who saved my life. You'll be made right for this, I promise.
Whatever the code dictates.
Now with Franklin, you can tell he's really kind to her. When she asks for a ride to Vinewood, he agrees right away, saying he can't leave her alone there after what happened. However, after a bit of chatting with her, he starts to get kinda hesitant. Because she asks his first name and he only says that, then she asks for his last name and he says he doesn't want to share it. Then she says she needs his full name so her dad can reward Franklin. So he gives his full name and says whatever, like just send the money.
What's your name, by the way?
Franklin.
Franklin what?
Man, I ain't sure I want to answer that.
He's gonna want to know who saved my life.
Franklin Clinton.
You'll be made right for this, I promise.
Yeah, if you say so.
With Michael, you can kind of see there's a connection there because her dad's a mobster and she's not. And then like, Michael is a criminal and Tracy isn't. So I guess Michael relates to that a bit. But at the end of the dialogue, when she asks for Michael's full name, he gets worried too. He asks if he's gonna find a horse's head in his bed in the morning. And then he says he's not gonna find one. And then he says he's not gonna find one. And then he says he's not gonna find one. Michael gets worried about the horse's head in his bed in the morning, which is a nod to the movie The Godfather. And man, that makes it cooler because Michael is the guy who likes movies. So he drops a reference to The Godfather, which somehow ties into the guy needing to know the full name. This part of the event is pretty awesome.
What's your name, by the way?
Michael.
Michael what?
Why? I'm not gonna find a horse's head in my bed, am I?
He's gonna want to know who saved my life.
Okay. Michael DeSanta.
You'll be made right for this, I promise.
If you say so.
Back on the road with Trevor, I tested a few things too, like crashing the vehicle a couple of times. She doesn't say anything about it. If you get a wanted level with the cops, at first she might complain, but depending on the wanted level, she might get out of the car and run away. So I don't know, I think if you get just 1 star, she only says you're crazier than the guys who kidnapped her.
You're as crazy as those rednecks.
And if you get more stars, she might actually get out of the car as soon as you stop the vehicle. Another thing we can do, but it's only with Trevor in this case, is take her to the altruist cult. When we're almost there, she asks if the route is really the right one and all that, and he says yeah it is, that he knows those mountains like the back of his hand.
Are you sure this is the right way?
Oh yeah! I know this area like the back of my hand.
Then when you drop her off at the altruist cult, there's no extra dialogue, just kind of those crying moans. It doesn't even sound like her voice.
Hail, fella! What do you got? What do you got?
I heard you're interested in taking care of some lost travelers for a price.
So it is. So it is. Leave the body, take the gold. Come on! Move! Move!
I also tried taking her to other places, like for example Trevor's strip club, and to my surprise, I don't know why, but the strip club is closed. I didn't know some places closed during random events. I went to the police station with her, but there's no interaction at all. Nothing like that. No one says anything, no one does anything. I even tried taking her to the cinema and to some other spots just to see if there would be any kind of interaction the characters could have with her, but unfortunately none of that worked. So I had to take her to the place where she's actually supposed to be, and when you get there, there's this huge car waiting for her. She thanks you, gets inside, and that car just drives off heading towards Los Santos.
That's my guy. Thank you again. I won't forget this.
And after that, which can happen quickly or take some time, you get a call from her at the number 615-550-182. In that call, she identifies herself saying she's Antonia Bottino, who was saved from being buried alive. She then transfers $60,000 to the account of whichever character saved her.
Who's this?
It's Antonia Bottino. You know, the girl who nearly attended her own funeral out at Paleto Bay?
How could I forget?
My dad wanted to make sure you were looked after. Now there's some money being wired to your account right now. Now I gotta get off the line. Thank you again.
But there have been times when I did this random event and didn't get the call at the end. So I'm not sure if it's a bug or if it's just kind of random. I don't really know the exact metric or rule that makes the call spawn. An interesting fact is that if you try calling that number she calls you from both before and after the event, it plays exactly the same sound, like a voicemail box, but there's no voice or anything. Then the call just drops. It's pretty common for several phone numbers in GTA 5 to do this. Like they work during missions, events, or side missions, but if you try calling them in free roam, they don't work. And so, at the end of the event, the last test I had left was a way to mess with the NPC after you deliver her, because during the event itself, you can't do it. So I kept ramming my car into that big black car she got into, and nothing really happened until at some point I managed to block her vehicle. Then her bodyguard came up to me like he got close to my car, you know? And when I aimed my gun at him, a wanted star popped up. Maybe two, I don't remember exactly right now since I had already recorded a bunch of possibilities. So then I decided to do one more test, just showing the gun or provoking other NPCs. So I saw an NPC near his car, and when I aimed the gun, a wanted star popped up. Meaning, this makes me think that the guy who came to pick her up is some kind of NPC who's a guard or something like that. He's not exactly a cop, because when you kill him, you don't get 3 wanted stars. And any cop you kill goes straight to 3 stars. But he is something because if you point the gun at him, you get 1 star, and if you kill him, it goes up to 2 stars. I don't know exactly if he's a guard or some specific NPC that shows up there, but yeah, this does happen. A really interesting fact about this random event is that there's an actual lawsuit in real life related to it. There's a woman named Karen Gravano, who is the daughter of a former underboss of the Italian mafia named Salvatore Sammy the Bull Gravano, and Karen Gravano sued Rockstar, asking for $40 million, claiming that Rockstar used her image and story to create Antonia Bottino and her random event mission. Rockstar denied the claims, stating that creative works and fiction like GTA 5 are categorically protected against Section 51 claims. The case was then dismissed in September 2026 along with Lindsay Lohan's lawsuit, who also wanted something regarding that blonde who appears on the GTA 5 wallpaper. But it's cool to know there might have been some real life inspiration there. To be honest though, this Karen Gravano doesn't really look like Antonia Bottino, but there could still be some actual inspiration. I haven't really dug deep into her story. And that's it guys, that was today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, suggest a specific random event or a side mission or a main story mission. I'm already covering all of those in sequence, so I can bring it here for you. While I'm working on that, check out the latest version of the PlayStation 3 versus PlayStation 4 video. All the comparisons, I did a remake of the previous video, so take a look, you're gonna love it, and hit that like button to hype this video up and give the channel some love. With that said, like, subscribe, big hug, and see you in the next video. Peace out.